Hi everybody, welcome back to Sketch to Sea. In today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the selection process. There are so many different types of boats out there. How do you choose? How do you narrow it down? What sort of criteria do you use to select the yacht that you want? Most importantly, why do you want a boat? When I originally started exploring the idea of living on a yacht over 10 years ago, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted. Turns out, where we ended up is very different than the idea I had pictured in my mind. The yacht that we are building today and designing right now suits our purposes so much better than what I originally would have bought back in the day. So I've put together a preliminary list of questions for you to ask yourself that will help you narrow down and hone in on the type of yacht or boat that you're thinking about buying. These were questions that I took the time to ask myself, adjusted the answers every once in a while as my needs and wants changed, but I found them extremely effective at narrowing down to the type of boat that we're building today. So question number one, what is your reason for purchasing the boat? Is it fishing? Is it lifestyle? Is it entertaining or hosting? Is it blue water cruising? Answering some of these questions will help you narrow down the exact type of boat that you should start researching. Question two, what are your must-haves? And what is a want versus an absolute need? Do you need a water maker? Do you want a main level master? Do you want a sailboat? Do you need a motor yacht? All of these items are actually covered in another episode of mine called The Design Brief. For us, we definitely wanted a blue water cruiser. We love the idea of being able to take our home and explore the world with it in complete safety and comfort. Another good question to ask yourself is, do you want a motor yacht or a sail yacht? This will effectively eliminate 50% of what's out there on the market. For us, it was obvious. We definitely wanted a sail yacht. The main reason we wanted a sail yacht was because of its affordability. We could effectively move this boat from point A to point B for free. Choosing a motor yacht or a sail yacht will impact your operating budget greatly. Another great question, or question number 4, would be monohull or catamaran. For us, the choice was obvious. We needed the space that a catamaran allowed. We also needed the stability of the platform. On to question 5. Is speed important? Speed is important to us. It was definitely at the back of our minds when we were making a lot of the decisions, but it was definitely not driving the design process. On to number 6. Are you going to have crew? Do you plan on crewing it yourself? Are you going to become a captain? Are you going to get your license and certified? For us, the yacht that we're building will require some crew some of the time. That's mainly just for long open ocean passages. Again, with crew, it was not driving the design process. The amount of time that you're spending on board maintaining the systems will dictate a lot of your crew requirements. The more you're there, the less crew requirements you're going to have. However, it can also work the other way, because if you have a large vessel and you are in some marina in some exotic location, you pretty much want to have somebody on board all the time. Another good question to ask yourself is your boat going to be a seasonal live-aboard, full-time home, weekend warrior, or just a general vacation every once in a while? For us, as this was our new forever home, we definitely went with the catamaran platform because it has the availability to provide all of the creature comforts with the additional space that allow for redundancy in the operating and life support systems on board a vessel. How many people do you plan on having on board? What is the dynamic of the people that are living on board? Is it a family? Are there kids? For us, it's just going to be the 2 of us plus crew and potentially 2 large dogs. Where do you plan on using your boat? Is it intercoastal, coastal waters, or do you plan on crossing oceans? This will help you narrow down the longevity and the materials that are used to build your boat. Some of these materials, after all, will wear better than others. I knew for our purposes, we needed something that was capable of multiple circumnavigations of the Earth. Another great question to ask yourself is, do you ever plan on chartering your boat? Or would you even consider chartering your boat? If you are planning on chartering your boat and living on board, you're effectively designing two different vessels on one hull. The requirements for a charter vessel are drastically different than what you may have as your home and your vessel yourself. It's important to consider those two options as you weigh them back and forth during the design and construction process. How long do you plan on having your boat for? Is it going to be 1 year, a 5-year, a 10-year, or a multi-generational vessel? This is a great question. Again, this really comes down to the type of materials that need to be used in order to build your vessel. Also with this, it's important to find a yard that is capable of building your vessel to these standards that will stand the test of time. It's one of my favorite questions. We're on to question number 12. What's your budget? You really have to be realistic when considering your budget and the type of vessel you plan on purchasing. Buying a motor yacht is drastically different than buying a sail yacht. Fuel consumption alone can be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. When considering your budget, building a spreadsheet really helped lay it out for us. When it comes to my cost and my budget, well, that's for me to know and you to guess. It is worth noting that not all boats that cost the same are made equally. Another great question is, are you buying a new boat, a used boat, or are you designing a boat and shopping it around and hoping somebody will build it for you? For us, we searched the market for a few years and never really found anything that ticked all of our boxes. And then luckily we were able to design our own boat. When considering buying a used boat, you have to consider using a broker. For us, as we designed and built, we did not use a broker, so I'm not here to endorse anybody. But I will say it is very important that you find a broker that is willing to work for you, look for your needs, and not just be looking for a paycheck. For example, you could be sitting in Fort Lauderdale and your ideal boat be located somewhere in Greece. You need a broker that's willing to do the search and look the distances for you to find you your perfect vessel. If you are buying used, a broker can be a great resource. Just make sure that it is the right broker for you and your purposes. On to question 15. Do you need anything custom? Are you retrofitting your boat after you have purchased it? We looked at a few mass-produced boats with the thought of retrofitting them after our purchase. And it just didn't work. It's a lot harder to retrofit something that somebody else has already used for a few years and make it your own. And I don't just mean visually or cosmetically, I mean structurally. Have you ever thought of going full custom? It might not be as expensive as you think. There are quite a few yards out there that are now building full custom vessels for the price of production boats. Do a little bit of research and see what's out there. You might be surprised what you find. After all, we were. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at sketchtoc@gmail.com and I can help point you in the right direction. The last two things to really consider at this point are running costs and warranties. What is your monthly budget? What is your cruising budget? How are you going to break it down between ports of entry, marinas, anchorages, provisioning? And then finally, warranty. What do you get out of your warranty? Even if you are buying used, there are options to get warranties out there. For your new warranty, what's it going to be broken down into? Is it going to be structural, sail, internal equipment? Or is it going to be one all-encompassing period for the entire vessel? Once I had answered all these questions, I took the time to make a spreadsheet and budget 7 to 10 years in advance. No, you can't ever be 100% correct or 100% accurate. It's an estimate and a projection, so don't be too hard on yourself. But it is a good idea to build in a good margin for error. You must keep in mind that the marine industry is changing all the time, as are you and potentially the location of your vessel. Things in South America can be a lot cheaper to get physical labor done on your vessel than they are in Fort Lauderdale, for example. When considering running costs and the general maintenance of your boat, the vast majority of wear and tear happens while underway or at sea. After completing the spreadsheet, I spent a lot of time doing online research. So, where did you end up? What is the basis of your decision making? Are you willing to be flexible with some of your wants and needs to get something now rather than wait 2 years or 5 years? Are you prepared to wait if you choose to go custom and build? I've left you with quite a bit to think about. Take your time, be realistic, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me at sketchtosea@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share, and follow our journey on social media via Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again. Hope to see you again soon.